Mark your calendars. The AZ Oktoberfest 2025 is happening 31st of October to November 2nd at the iconic Nitro Compound in Maricopa, Arizona. This track is next level with huge elevation, massive jumps, and fast technical layouts that keep the action intense all weekend long. Add some night racing under the lights and perfect fall desert weather with temperatures from 70s to the low 80s, and you have the ultimate RC weekend. Classes include novice, sportsman, intermediate, pro, 40 plus, short course truck, and you have the open class. This is for any skill level as a second buggy class. And of course, they have a 16 and under class with their dedicated 16 and under final. Race and hang out with RC stars like Ryan Mayfield, Spencer Rivkin, Spencer Heckert, Camden Lime, and the Iceman, Mason Fuller. They have a massive raffle from all the sponsors that participated, live coverage by Mod Live Media. This is one race you don't want to miss. Follow the Nitro Compound on Facebook and Instagram for more details, and get ready to send it at the AZ Oktoberfest.
Nitro is the glory,
but e-buggy pays the bills.
Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Leslie the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this awesome episode with one of our most popular podcasts ever, Mr. Ryan Stiles Harris. That's right. We got Ryan Stiles Harris back in the house. But before we do that, I need to say thank you to all of you guys out there, the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you for all the support. We see the subs going up on the YouTubes. Please don't forget to hit that sub, like, notification button on our YouTube channel. Help us get to that 8,000K and 10,000K, hopefully by the end of the year. 10K, sorry, 8K, 10K. I got this mixed up. But yes, thank you guys for the support. Also, a big shout out to the patrons of the NNRC for your extra support, as well as the YouTube members. You get perks as early access of this podcast. So thank you very much. If you wish to support the podcast, you can. We greatly appreciate it. It definitely helps us out. And you get some early access. Also, a big shout out to our sponsors. Without them, none of this is possible. A big shout out to J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Dollar Hobbies, Side Piece Racing, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Don't forget, we have links for all of those companies in the written description of this podcast. We have some coupon codes, some affiliate links, or if you don't have just a regular link, just let them know that you heard about us on the No Name RC podcast. Also, a big shout out to our drivers, four-time European champion David Ronnefolk, Robert Badier, Alexander Hagberg, Maddie G, Pecco Evening, Una Hotnan, and Mason Fuller. That's right. Ryan Stiles Harris is back in the house. We interviewed him. We talked about 2 years ago, and he's been heavily involved in 8 Scale. It was probably one of it is the most popular YouTube. It's our most popular podcast on YouTube. It was great having another candid chat with Ryan. We touched on a lot of things since that 2 years. One of the things being a series, production-wise, how much he's enjoying 1/8 Scale and making content again. And it's always a good chat with Ryan, and it's good to see him at the races. We hope you guys enjoy it. It's a one-off interview. There's no other RC news or anything like that. It's just a one-off interview with Mr. Ryan Stiles Harris, part two, or I like to call it the Ryan Stiles Harris 2.0 interview. We hope you guys enjoy it. And let us know what you think about some of the opinions we have in here. I know there were some hot topics in there. And maybe you'll see why it's a little bit difficult to do some of these things that we're talking about. But a big shout out to Ryan Stiles Harris. Go check out his content if you haven't. He makes some great content. Love what he does. His video about race strategy is absolutely awesome. We talk about that in this podcast. And thank you, Ryan, for your time. Thank you, J Concepts, for all your support. We greatly appreciate your support in doing this. And don't forget, showing the sponsor some love shows the podcast some love. What's going on, Ryan? Welcome back.
Lefty, what's going on, man? It's good to be back.
First off, thank you for coming back on. You actually are the most popular podcast I have on YouTube.
No, I'm like top 3.
No, you are on YouTube.
Wow. Why?
Actually,
I don't. I'm like, middle to intermediate pack guy. It's like I'm not that fast on a track, but we have some fun with the video stuff, and I know there's a lot of people out there that like it. So thank you to everyone that makes me as relevant as I am. Thank you.
dude, and that was a 5-hour podcast. Not that we talked for 5 hours, but it was part of a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah,
And
dude. Yeah, you told we talked for a minute, and then you told me you're like, yeah, I got 3 more hours on top of this. I'm like, whoa, that's a beefy one, dude.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. As we're recording this, it's I don't know when this is going to be released, but we're talking on the Tuesday of the Raw Nationals. The Raw Nationals just started today, and I rehashed some of it and put up some reels yesterday, and we got some juicy stuff going. Because what I'm finding is a lot of people don't know a lot of this content's out. I got 320 episodes of different types of content, so I'm rehashing some of the stuff and bringing out in shorter clips for people to see. And I found our clip about the series, and I said, we're going to revisit this when I talk to you the following week. And it caused quite a stir on the reels and the clip as well. Dude, those reels get people excited is the word I would use for it.
Yes, there were quite the polarizing opinions there from the church choir. It was interesting to see people completely agree and then some people completely disagree. I don't want to put anybody on blast. Maybe I will, but I was very curious. I'm sure you saw some of it as well, and it perhaps piqued your interest.
Yeah, I also saw people that didn't really understand what you was talking about.
Yeah. So it sounds maybe shallow to look at it. And okay, so there's 2 different ways I want to look at this, talk about it. If we're going to talk about it again, we'll go whatever direction you want to go. That initial clip I was talking about, it was a total off the wall discussion. I don't even think I prefaced you on what I was going to say. It just came out of nowhere, and it came from the heart. That at the time, I don't know how established was Lance and his elite productions team. Did he just start?
Yes.
Okay. So it was funny as I was watching it, I was like, dude, he's doing all those things that I was hoping somebody would do. And he does them so well. And you're a part of that whole entire crew. So seriously, kudos to you guys, because I think it's one of the strongest broadcast social media marketed efforts I've seen, hands down, honestly. And I know JQ, before he jumps into my DMs again and RCGP, just shh. We're not going to talk about that right now. Okay. Leave us Americans alone. I'm going to talk about my series, and I'm going to talk about the things that I hope we can do here in the States. Maybe we can adopt some of the stuff you did for RCGP. But my whole point was the traveling circus. That was like the thing I have the biggest gripe with, because I love all the guys that do it. Dakota, Mayfield, all the guys that Rivkin, name any of the top guys that are getting the top dollars there from the brands. And it's like, why do they do it? Just to win every weekend, but it doesn't accumulate to anything, right? That's what we talked about.
Yep. Yep. That's what we was talking about. And then he was talking about making a video and putting a series together. And then I told you about my virtual. Says I want to catch you up on that because I did do it. And it's
Okay.
funny you should say that because JQ, I had him on her about a month ago, maybe a month and a bit ago, and he blasted me. He's like, "You're all corporate. You're not doing NNRC content at races." And da. I said, because I'm actually having fun doing what I'm doing here with Elite RC Productions and trying to make a difference here. You know, JQ is a wrecking ball, and sometimes you got to be a scalpel. And that led to, sorry, that led to a whole bunch of people saying, "Yeah, Lefty's not this good as a commentator. He should do this and do that." And I said, well, guess what? I have fun at the Elite RC Productions. I do enjoy the NNRC content. But like when I did it in Spain last year with Max and luckily he was there. Dude, we was going to sleep. I was going to sleep at 1 in the morning, and Max was going to sleep with his laptop on his chest. And it was a lot of work. And it was just for passion because it wasn't no money. It wasn't no money. I mean, the trip was paid for. We had spent the money, but we didn't make any money at it. So it was just about passion. But I am actually planning on doing that again. Him and I are going to the e-buggy worlds. We're working on that. So that's coming up at the end of August. So he blasted me. Don't worry, he likes to point out everybody's faults but his own. So that's just I'm used to that with JQ. But he has a point. He wants more independent media, but what he doesn't see is sometimes what I've learned in the last 2 years is it's not always about going aggressive, right? You got to learn to play with everybody in the sandbox, and then you can start making changes, start influencing things. And he may not see it, but I see it. I have seen, and working with different working with all these different races that I have been over the last 2 years, the industry is in a shift because there's things that wouldn't have happened 5 years ago that are happening now, right? Like embracing the drama, embracing the storylines and all that type of stuff. So there is change, but as I always like to say, and I've said this many times, RC racing is a big super tanker. And when a super tanker has to turn, it has to first decide to turn, plot a course, and then takes 3 days to turn, or like 150 miles to turn. We just decided to turn in RC. We still got to plot the course. Then we actually got to turn, and then the turn's even going to take a long time. So we're talking years from now. But he did blast me. I was wondering how he was going to take it because I did bring up RCGP on that reel because a lot of that stuff I agreed with you on looking back on it, right? The aggressiveness, the guerrilla marketing. We thought that was what we had to do at the time, but we also couldn't see how detrimental it was to the overall product at the end of the day. So I've had lots of time to think about that, and we talked about that, and I got your point, and I was like, yeah, I agree with him. So I like to tell those guys, when it's time to make noise, we make noise. But we don't have to always make noise just for the sake of making noise. Sometimes you just gotta accept things how they are and go with the flow.
I think something that is almost like a reflection of what you're dealing with on a larger scale, but it's still not in terms of what we understand in the world of broadcasting. It's not gigantic, but I think of the Supercross or the SMX series broadcast team. And I don't know if you follow much of it, but there was some drama of some people that didn't get along in the broadcast booth and how difficult it can be for those guys as a on-air personality to market themselves and be successful. You kind of have to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do because it's a part of the big machine that is working, that is established, and you have to find a way to plug into it. And then from the inside, change it how you want for the future, right? And the problem that I saw with our CGP is they didn't want to plug into anything. They're like, nope, you guys all suck. We're going to do this our way. So come join us. And so everybody just kind of stood back and was like, no, especially because that JQ guy's involved. So double no, right? And I'm not, JQ, I love you. I know that you're doing a lot of wonderful things for people with your Invisible Speed series, developing a car that a lot of people love. I'm not outing you as just a terrible person. I'm saying the approach to getting a series to work, I would say RCGP and everybody that worked hard on doing it and all the money that went into it, maybe it could have been executed differently. I'm saying that as nice as I can. Okay.
I know. He's gonna be in your DMs for sure. That's for
Oh yeah.
sure.
He's
He's gonna
probably
be
in
there.
there right now. He's listening. His ears are burning.
All right. So I have had to so over the last 2 years or since we've recorded, I say 2 years, it's really about a year, maybe a year and 3 quarters. I can't remember exactly.
It's close. 2 years. We'll call it.
Yeah, a lot's changed for you.
Yes.
I've been uber busy. I've really got up close and personal with the Southeast racing community, especially Florida.
Mm,
Getting a chance to be there quite a lot, enjoying my time there in Florida and just in the Southeast period. It's a very hot. Southeast is such a hotbed of 1/8 scale RC racing. It's really impressive to me how it is, right? And it's state by state, and then it's state by state, and then you have the whole Southeast that's included, right? It all
right.
comes together at some of these big races. You went to PMB. We can touch on that too, 'cause I think that was the first time you went to PMB, correct?
Any race time event of any kind. Yeah.
Mm.
Other than like an 8 scale race that Lance does with his, I forget what he called it in the past, but it doesn't matter. The FRCC type series that he's been running for a while. I haven't
Mhm.
done anything. So P&B was my first effort at something like that.
Okay. And you have completely, like, gone 100% into 8 scale. Like, you're all about nitro
Yeah.
truggy. You're no 10
Yeah.
scale for you. So,
Other than my wing sprint cars and this relic over here that I've never even driven and it's been a part of my family for a very long time. I do not own a 10 scale car. Like an off-road 10 scale, they're gone. All of it
mm,
is gone. And which if you would have told me, Ryan 5 years ago that it'd be like, you're not going to have any 10 scale, you're just going to do A scale only, I would have been like, what? Why?
well, you've also switched up your brands. You're now running a
Yes.
Techno by choice, which I happen to
Yes.
think is one of the best. I really like what Techno is doing. A very good dynamic. And, me
Can I yeah. So talking about what'd you call it? The tanker is slowly turning. One of those turns, I think the drama, right? Say the stuff that's juicy for the clip. I was very appreciative for what Horizon tried to do with me.
Mhm,
And maybe it was a misunderstanding on both parts, but it just felt like at the end of the day, I wasn't on the same page, they weren't on the same page, and it didn't work out that well. I love
mm.
Frank Root and everybody that helped me with the cars that I did have. It was fun and they were nice, but as far as like understanding what I was trying to do in like a complete sense, it just wasn't there. The powers that be at the time when I voiced what my goals were, they were like, "Oh, that's great, that's cool. How do you feel about like airplanes and boats?" And I was like, "Okay, were you listening to anything I just said?" I purposefully don't do basher content, and it's not because I don't think it's important. It's just not what I have a passion to make content about. And I know that there's so many brands that you just collect a check because it's an affiliate program. Like they just send you these disposable cars and you have this giant wall of bashers behind you because you're just trying to pump that thing every time it drops. Hey, link down below, please go buy this thing. And then they collect their check. And if you figure that system out and that's how you pay your bills at the end of the day, cool, man, but that's just not the type of content that I want to make. I'm a racer. I want to race. So when I departed from Horizon, a lot of people kind of like scoffed at me and they're like, "Oh, he's going to be sorry. Oh, he got fired. Oh, they hate that." Like I heard a lot of crazy things. And I'm like, "Guys, just let me race my cars at the end of the day. Just leave me alone." So we went through the transition. We're like, okay, the Horizon thing is just not working. Let's go find what we need so that we can enjoy our time at the track. So what was it? Oh, it was HB right out of the gate. And unfortunately, there was a lot of weird stuff surrounding HB at the time. And it's right when they did the World Spec car. And at least here in the States, that car is really hard to drive on our type of tracks. And universally, everybody realized the older car was way better. And I was like, okay, well, that timing was awful. So I was like, this isn't really working out. So we sold those cars. We got the AE car. Um, and I think that car's fine. I'm just not a pillowball guy. The driving style is completely different. It didn't mesh with me. Lee Setzer, when he was on AE at the time, he was really helpful. He tried to get me the car dialed in, but it's just like, just not working. And then we landed on the Techno. And I was like, you know what? Can I drive like Mayfield for a second? Maybe. Let's find out. So we got the Techno full retail, purchased it on my own dime, went out there, ran it, and I was like, oh my God, I love this car. And so then we made the content. Now, coming back to this whole thing, the boat was turning. That, of course, when those videos went out, I had at least half a dozen people within the first month immediately wholesale what they had and buy a Techno because of what they saw with me. They were like, Ryan, we know that you can be fast sometimes, but we all saw a significant difference when you landed on that car and then watched you race that car. They were like, okay, like we watched your video and we watched you in person. Yeah, okay, that's the car. So it was cool to see those guys do it. And then slowly the connection came to Techno themselves. And they were like, dude, we love your stuff. How can we help you? Now, I wanted to say this because I do not have a contract to this day with Techno. I do not. Like, they just saw what I did and they were like, you know what? That is a very effective marketing campaign effort. If we can help you in any way, like, do you want some parts? Can we send you like a fresh kit once a year? Like, how can we plug into this? And so they have helped me a little bit, no contract, because they see the importance of something with effective content making. It's a group of people say, hey, this guy's cool. We like what he's running. We want to run it too. So that's like a successful campaign. So I feel like the boat had turned a little bit more since I was at Horizon to now today. Techno kind of realizes that and they're plugging into it, just plain and simple. So they're awesome people. I love them. I love the Techno cars. Like I would run them at full retail. Today, give me any car that I have to go buy with my own dollars. I'm still going to run the Techno. That's why I'm here.
It is a very good brand, very good people behind it. Matt and Daniel are awesome people. Matt's been very good to me. He's been very good to they've been very good to the podcast, even when this podcast hasn't been nice to them. Right. And we've had, Matt has good ideas. They both have great ideas. We've had lots of conversations about things at races, and they've been very supportive of me. I have a Techno e-truggy. I absolutely love it. And I've had the chance to race it a few times. And just when I do get a chance, even though I don't consider what I do racing, but I have seen the growth of the brand in Florida. It's a lot of fast. I mean, I was at the Callahan race and my goodness, Jada was absolutely flying with that thing. And it's like, I'm getting it figured out. And of course, John Bernard Jr. has been running the cars for a long time, but it's a good piece of kit. They have the complete line. I like to say to people, it's a great car for the average driver, in my opinion. The Nitro cars, all the cars, I think they have the best truggy on the market. You've had some epic battles in truggy with Patrick because he's your big rival in the Florida RC championships. You had some epic battles with him, and it's been good. And that's great. You're getting to, when you can make the content that you are passionate about, you can make great content, and that's racing based content. Thank you to High Tech RC for all that continued support and winning a European championship with David Ronnefolk here recently at the 2025 European Championships in Barcelos, Portugal. If you're looking for top tier performance and reliability for your RC setup, High Tech RCD has you covered with industry leading chargers and servos for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, High Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high torque servos to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust High Tech to keep you in control. High Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit www.hightechrcd.com and let them know that you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. I watched one of your videos the other day. It was very good. Very good. It was the race strategies.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was
when
awesome.
I was sitting down thinking about a video to make, Casey Neistat, throwing the name out of there, out of the Nether realm. Huge content creator, very innovative. And one of the things that he said, for those of you that don't know, he's a movie director, and he did a lot of stuff with like the vlog style content before that was really a thing. He got huge with it. And he said, make the best video you can like always. So it's like if you're going to sit down and make content and this is your style, like think about the best thing you could possibly make and then make it. So it's like I had a couple ideas floating around and I was like, man, really I feel like I've got my race strategy really dialed in right now with the 8 scale stuff. Like when I come to a race, I have a lot of confidence that I'm not going to a race thinking, "Oh my god, like I hope that my car at least runs for 15 minutes in the main." It's like that's how I used to think, but now it's like, no, no, no. My race program is flushed out, it's working, it's awesome. Now I can really focus on what it will take for me to win, if it's possible for me to win. And I thought maybe some people will find this interesting because I think it's tremendously important to have the mental aspect prepared and dialed and focused throughout the whole racing series. Might not always go the way that you're thinking, but at least have it and be prepared. I think it's important.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. I think if you're a beginner racer, you should watch that video. It was very good. Race strategy, racecraft, all that good stuff. Another good thing I saw, you've got Dalton out there running 8 scale. Like I thought I'd never see that. He's a mutual friend of ours. He's a 10 scale carpet racer through and through. But you got
Yes.
him out there at these races. He's pitting for you. He's doing some nitro. I think he's doing some nitro. And
Only.
that,
That's it. That's the only thing he has is a nitro buggy.
well, congratulations. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
I kept teasing him for probably years now. I was like, Dalton, you know that carpet racing's fake, right? Like you have to race a nitro buggy. Until you do, I'm like, I'm not calling you a racer. So he finally caved. He got one and he was like, this techno thing that you got, it seems like you're pretty confident in it. So it's like, if I come out and race that with you, at least I'll bounce setup ideas off of you. And it's been really cool because he runs in our series, he runs the open class and then I run the pro class. So when I can, I pit him, he pits me, vice versa. So it's a really good system that we have. And whenever we're questioning setups and like we're not sure what to do, we can try, we can A B test stuff through qualifying. It's like, okay, well, you're going to try this shock package. I'll try this. We'll watch. And then, we'll go with what we think is the best in the main. So it's really cool. It's a fun little program that we have. And Dalton, he might not fully admit that he likes it, but he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah. Shout out to Dalton. He let me, he gave me a great, very good 21.5 car to race at 2023 Carpet Nationals, Carpet Championships. My
Oh,
favorite
nice.
carpet race.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
do you miss 110 scale at all?
If I could go back to 10 scale when we had tread on our tires, yes.
Okay.
10 scale now, dirt, no, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if I gave this example the last time we were on a podcast, but you're no stranger. Nolan Manchester, he's fast, little Florida kid down here. He's faster than me on any day. Just that's it. Like straight up mano a mano, he's going to beat me every single time. We went to the now no longer alive. What was it called? The place,
Oh,
the hobby town.
track. Ooh, SO Raceway.
Yeah, SO Raceway. That was like the biggest indoor dirt track that we had seen here in Florida. It's unfortunate they couldn't make it work, but I'll never forget. We had just come from two-wheel from nationals at Beach RC. Rest in peace. And he beat me there. Like I was middle of the B and he was in the A. Like pretty decidedly. Like there was a gap there. So it's like we were fresh off of that, and we go to SO Raceway. I was like lights out faster than him. Like he couldn't even touch me. And it was just because he couldn't get settled on literally, I'm not creating like a weird scenario. The ball stud spacing of his links front and rear were just a little bit different than mine. And he couldn't get it like perfect. And it meant all the difference in the world. Like his car was borderline undrivable. Like we were on the same everything else, but that. So it's like for me, 8 scale is your car can be sort of most of the way there, but maybe not 100%. And you can still drive it because there's loose dirt element. There's a lot of roughness to it. It's not so perfect. It's more driver focused. So when 10 scale was that, like back in the day, I really loved it. But as it progressed to what we see today, it's just this weird version of carpet racing that it's not my passion. Not going to say it's stupid. It's just not for me.
And I love carpet racing. I was actually at SO Raceway that weekend. I was racing too. If I remember
Were
correctly.
you?
Yeah. I was racing Mr. Steve, may he rest in peace. I had his truck and I was
Okay.
on his
Nice.
truck. I believe the track is still there.
Oh, is it really?
Yes. They just
I thought
are not doing any racing or whatnot.
I know that they went into some weird limbo with their rent agreement to where they were working to get back to their old location and they were just waiting on stuff. So that might already have happened. I don't know. But they were definitely not planning on staying. Like they're leaving. It's, not a thing.
And speaking of Nolan Manchester, he's gone all the way into 8 scale, and I watched uh, him and Gabriel Santiago at
Yes.
Callahan. Gabriel has improved. Both of them, I think, are very fast young racers. They're going to be the guys that are beating Julian here very shortly, because Julian is the top. He's the fastest racer, probably
Yeah.
if he's the fastest racer in Florida, probably one of the fastest 8 scale racers in the Southeast. Besides a Cole Ogden, maybe a Jonah Wilson, I would say.
I need to give you your clip here about Julian. I love Julian. Okay. Julian Oliveras, if you're listening, if you're watching this, please do something for us Florida folk that when you go to these big race time events, if you go, do what you do to the guys when they come down here. I've watched you beat Mason Fuller straight up, and I've watched you beat Jared Wiggins straight up. But then you go to the race time event, and then I'm like, what is he doing? Just go faster, please, because I know you can.
That's right, because we went to the Exalt race. I think it was. Was it the Exalt race at Sundancers? And that's when Mason Fuller came down
Mhm.
and Julian beat him. But I am very impressed with Manchester and Santiago. When I met
Yes.
Gabriel 2 years ago, when I first came to my first FRCC race, was not doing nitro. He was just doing e-buggy and e-truggy. And I
Yes.
watched him and I'm like, this kid's fast, but he would break and he was just erratic and he'd blow out. And then I watched him at Callahan and I was like, he's running night. I remember telling him, I said, you got to run nitro. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I was telling his dad in Spanish, you got to run nitro. He's got to run nitro. And he is putting in a lot of work. And him in Manchester, they're going to be knocking on Julian's door very shortly, because that is the litmus test, right? You got to beat Julian.
I think straight up right now, Nolan is faster than Julian. It's just that Nolan, I think he's younger and he just lacks the consistency. I always tell Nolan and I tease him in the pits. I was like, I know how to beat you. You know how I know how to do that, right? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I just have to get on the warm up lap. I have to start right behind you. And as long as I can get inside your head from the start of the race, I know that there's a very high probability that you're mentally just going to destroy your own efforts. So it's like building that wherewithal, that tenacity of like the Iceman mentality that you see with like Mason Fuller and Dakota. I think that's what separates them as the greats, where they can just absolutely lock in no matter what the circumstances are, and they can just get it done. Whereas Nolan, and same thing with Gabe, if I can rattle them a little bit when I race them in the series, I know that's when I have my chance, because they're going to make a mistake, because they're going to overdrive the car, do something silly, throw a whip that's way too big or something, and ultimately ruin their own efforts. But yeah, those kids are super fast. Definitely the future of what we have here in the Southeast.
Okay. That's a great, I want to ask you 2 questions. Remind me to come back to Horizon. We're going to come back to that, 'cause I want your
Okay.
opinion on that. But, what was your first race time event? Your first big PMB? It was long. It was a long race. I think when I got done that race, I was like, I don't need I don't even wanna talk no more. I don't even
Yeah.
wanna look at the RC car. I don't wanna talk no more. But I like the PMB atmosphere. I like the show that Dave puts on, and he kinda got back to that this year with the blow up race time guys and the
Mm.
float. That was actually a float, because he likes that type of stuff. I really want him to bring back the long jump competition, which I think is really fun, because people build rocket cars and all that type of stuff for it, and it's a great sideshow. So tell us about that. How did you enjoy? How was your first crazy psycho nitro blast?
It was fun. I went there with no expectations. I just said, I'm going to prepare my cars as best I can, and then we're just going to see what happens. So after qualifying, when I immediately sorted into all the A mains and I was top 10 in all of them, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. I did not expect that, because I know that driving on that gigantic track is very different. Like, unless you do that on a regular basis, it's so hard to prepare for something like that as a driver. when your car is at the furthest corner of like the left and the right of the building, or even in the center in the back, I can't even fully understand what's going on with the car in terms of, is it generating grip? Does it have a push? Or does it look like my tires are holding? Like, there's a lot of stuff that I rely on when I see a car that's a lot closer to understand if it's doing what I want. I remember when the first time I went down the straightaway, I was like, "Oh my god, this straightaway never ends." And I thought that my car was fat, like the first time I went out with a nitro vehicle, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so fat. I have to lean this thing out." And the guy that was pitting me, he like put it on the box. He's like, "Rev it out," and then he like looks up at me. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, just I don't know." And that after that session, I came back and like I fired up in the pits, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this thing is like a missile right now. Like it's borderline lean, but it's just so far away, and I'm so high up that my perception was like, this is weird. Like I have to get used to it." So it looked like my cars were in slow motion. I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, "All right, well, we just have to do our best with it and see what happens." So what was really cool about that event in particular for me, having gone to the techno stuff, that was my first time being around any of like the techno team at large. Like I had seen Jared Wiggins at one race down here, and it was awesome. I love bouncing ideas off of him. But Joey Bordon, um, Brian Mayfield, Jared Wiggins. There's a couple other techno guys that came in there, and they just made sure I was cool, throughout the whole weekend. It was really fun. Mayfield, he came over at one point, and he just came over while I was working on my truck, and he just was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing good." He's like, that's wrong, fix that, and we need to do this." Like just straight to the point. I was like, "Okay, yes, sir, we'll get it done." So that was really cool. He even, gave me a quick little box tune, and he made sure I was ready to go for my main event. So it's kind of short. My truck main was awesome. I had Jimmy Fishback. He was on the box. That was a surprise. I didn't know he was going to. I had Kevin Abbott was on my headset when I was getting in warmed up and going up to the stand. And then as I finished one of my warm up laps, Jimmy jumped on the mic. He's like, "Yo, Ryan, what's up?" I was like, "Yo, Jimmy, what's good?" And it was really fun because that whole race, he was just telling me, hit your marks over and over and over and over again. Not once did he tell me where I was. Not once could I understand anything Lance was saying because it's so loud. I was just like, "Okay, well, we're just going to put this in. And when everybody stops running, that's where I finish." And so when I finished, I was like, "I think I'm third or second. I'm not sure." And then they told me I finished second. And I was like, "Yeah, let's go. This is cool." So that was a really fun event.
Yeah, and not with that Joker lane, it's so hard to tell, right? As
Oh my
as a
gosh. Yeah.
as a commentator, it's very difficult because in the back, I had graphics there, so I knew how many times people went. But you always gotta keep it in the back of your mind. I have mixed feelings on the Joker lane. I like it. I get why people like it. I don't. I'm glad it's not every year. I'm glad he doesn't do it every year. But I mean, it makes it for you can make a comeback, and but you as a commentator, you have to really keep that in the back of your head, and then you got to remember like it's what 18 people there, or at least the top five, because they might all be in position to do something. So it's very interesting. I enjoyed going to PNB. It was good to go back. I didn't go last year because I was in Portugal.
Mm.
But man, shout out to the Elite RC Productions crew. They work their behinds off. If anybody thinks it's easy to do a stream for 3 days straight and do that constantly for the hours that we did it, it's rough. And Lance does a good job of getting that. Like I saw Lance is so anxious before that race, right? And is thinking
Mm.
already thinking, how can I? Because his thing is like, let's get this done by a good time on Sunday so people could go home. And we always tell him, he'll be like, "We'll be done at this time," and I'm like, "Yeah, we'll be done at this time. Really, it's gonna be an hour and a half before that." And it's not that we're trying to rush people out of there. He's trying to get people on the road going home because most of these people got to go work on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So get them home safely, and they get their racing in. It was good. We're looking forward to Wicked Weekend. We'll be there. That is a race I tell everybody they should come to because it's very good. It's more laid back. It's getting bigger and bigger every year too. A lot of people like it. Very convenient to go to. So
That's the next race on my list. So I'm really pumped on getting the cars freshened up and ready for that one because I'm eager to do another race time event. And everybody said, like you said, oh, that's the one you got to go to. So I'm like, okay, we'll see what it's all about. I'm sure it's going to be really fun.
A big shout out to SidePieceRacing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top tier brands like Awesomatics, Rocher, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsatec, Phoenix Racing, and Will Speed. Whether you're seeking precision engineered car kits, high performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we've got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional customer service, ensuring you get the best gear when you need it. Visit SidePieceRacing.com today and race ahead of the competition. Let them know you heard about it from Lefty on the No Name RC podcast. Okay. So we mentioned Horizon, and I think the last time you was on here, you were still running the TLR. You were still involved with them. I don't know if you're involved with them now. Doesn't seem like it. But we got to talk about what they did going into 2025,
Okay.
which was basically disbanding their pro team, getting rid of Fenn, the guys who were getting paid, getting travel, and all that type of stuff, going to the more ambassador program, just not having a pro team. I've said my piece on it many times. A lot of people have opinions on it. I'm like this. I like to look at both sides, right? So for me, the racing side of me is like, oh, Horizon just got rid of Fenn and these guys. What are they going to do? They need to have a race team or TLR, sorry. But I also look at that man worked 20 years with them and they just let him go like that, which I don't like. But at the same time, I understand that racing costs money, right? It's not cheap. It costs money. There's very little ROI on racing. There is some, but very little, especially now in 8 scale. And I thought they're going to be done as a brand, as a race team, but they still have a solid base, not as big as it used to be, but still, I get why they did it, but I don't agree with it. I get why they did it, but I don't agree with it. What are your thoughts on what Horizon did by kind of disbanding the whole pro team? They still have the RPP program, which I think is good. And people still get paid for that. And they just dropped their 22X, just dropped a new stadium truck. I've been to some 10 scale races. You still see some TLRs or you don't see a top guy. Their top guy is Hunter King. More flowers for Hunter King. I gave him some last podcast. We're giving him some more. And what are your thoughts on all of that?
Does it make me sad? Yes, I guess is the easy summary of my personal opinion. Are they wrong? No, I don't think so because they have identified their bottom dollar. That's where it starts. And if you're going to operate in any sort of cash positivity, then you have to do what you have to do. And for them, that meant that they had to wholesale and get rid of their uh, team and their racing efforts because TLR is a subset brand of the Horizon company, and they have a ton of other brands that I've never seen their spreadsheets. I don't know anything about their financials, but we can reverse engineer what's going on based on an understanding of what their bottom dollar must be because they have since doubled down on all of their licensing deals with NASCAR type products, Monster Jam type products, the motorbike, like all of that stuff is more appealing to your average RC enthusiast. And we all know that that industry is gigantic. So whatever that relationship meant for their TLR brand meant that they basically had to, I guess, not technically completely disband it, but they could no longer pursue it in a way that you see a company like Schumacher or X-Ray or somebody that is very race focused. That's not how they make money. So they made decisions and hard ones at that accordingly. So I think that they were right in a financial sense, even though it makes me sad. If that's how you want to summarize my answer.
I understand that. I get it. I get their point, but I don't like it, But I get it. I'm not the one that makes decisions. And I understand how much more money the bashing side makes, right? How much stuff Armor sells. And there's little NASCARs, they're cool. I want one. Man, I just spent money on Horizon myself. I've got mini crawlers. I just bought micro tees for my kids. So
Nice.
I get it. I get it. I get it 100%. And I like the bashing side of things. It's something I want to dabble in as well because I don't have no racing. But it's weird being out there, right? And there's no Dakota Fend. He's in a blue shirt, not a black X-ray shirt. And dude, the X-ray team on the 10 scale side is massive at these races. Like stock class, mod class, like just the regular Joes. It's like, wow. Like Associated really, I would say that X-ray is just there. Like they are this, I don't even know. They might be one of the biggest teams there. Or if they are, I know not one of, I think they might be the biggest 10 scale team. They have some ringers on their 10 scale side. They have some fast guys. And
I think that it's like you had a acquisition opportunity,
mhm.
and I almost think that it's smart for X-Ray because they probably looked at it and said, "Okay, how much of that TLR customer base can we acquire, and what will it take to do so?" Rather than those people going to their competitors. So they said, "Okay, let's grow our 10 scale team by X, and then we can probably, increase our productivity by X." I would assume, because you don't make those kind of decisions without some sort of business plan beforehand. At least I hope so.
Yeah, and it's now at these races, at these 10 scales races, it's a Schumacher team. They're kind of so in the Europe, it's Schumacher versus X-Ray, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then over here, it was always TLR versus Associated. So now you have the Associated guys, and you have the X-Ray guys, which former TLR guys, pretty much.
Right.
But I mean, the amount of competition in both the mod and stock classes, which as I've been getting to these 10 scale races, I'm becoming more and more of a fan of. It's quite impressive. Now on the 8 scale side, maybe not as much, right? Because it's such a much more flooded market. And they do have their 8 scale guys, and it's growing. Obviously, Dakota is doing well there and whatnot. But it's probably not going to be we're going to see an increase in people running X-rays, I'm sure, but not to the extent that we saw in 10 scale because right now 10 scale really truly you have Associated, Schumacher, X-ray, and then of course you have TLR, and then you have a PR, right? So this would have been a great time for a company like Mugen to get another 4-wheel drive, probably got a driver, and go do some competing here in the USA instead of just having I talked about this, I think, on one of my lefty simple thoughts. Like Mugen came out with a 2-wheel drive 10 scale, lots of hype around it, but it's kind of, you barely see them at races now because there's no top guy driving them. There's no 4-wheel drive platform, and there's nobody out there developing the car to what people want. And at the end of the day, we're racers, and people can say that doesn't matter. The TLR guys can say it doesn't matter. We don't need a Dakota Fend winning. But guess what? This is their first year of that happening, right? So at some point, I've been on that small team with like the JQ Racing, nobody that can win a race, right? Or in the pro class. When I'm talking win a race in the pro side of things. So for 18 years, they had Dakota Fenn who could go out there and probably win a race amongst many other fast names that were there. They just don't have that anymore. And it eventually will come back because people will get tired of not having that pro guy to cheer on. And I know there's going to be people that are going to be in the comments, we don't care about the pro guys and da-da-da-da-da. Yes, you do. You're just saying that to argue with me because at the end of the day, there are superstars, right? There are pro athletes per se, quote unquote, in this hobby/sport, as I like to call it. That's a whole nother debate right there.
Sure. Well,
So
I mean, look at what color is that number plate right here? These two number plates. They're red. They came off of my Honda.
exactly.
There's a reason that they're red and it's a Honda is because I fell in love with riders that did well on those bikes and they were established as, a force to be reckoned with and something fast and formidable on the track. So I think that it's not any different in RC. Like I got a Techno because Mayfield was really fast, like me. Like I could have purchased any car I wanted, and at the end of the day, it was plain and simple. I was like, Mayfield just looks so dang good in this car. I'm gonna buy it. So when there's nobody fast that's driving the TLR stuff, I just wonder like how. Like I understand that you try to do the RPE thing, but people only get so excited about somebody winning sportsman or intermediate. Like I'm not discrediting their racing efforts. Like go out there, have fun, do what you need to do, be competitive, work hard for it. But when we're talking about a company that's making huge financial decisions to develop product, I think that you're right. Like if you're going to race, like you kind of need a guy that's going to win with that car. And right now, like I love Hunter. Hunter helps me out with my Discord every time I do a live stream. And I think that he would be self admitted. Like, he's not going to go out and beat Dakota Fend and Ryan Mayfield and all these other top guys. Like, he got his teeth kicked in when he went to Silver State this year. It was
Yeah.
like, it, people don't understand. Like, when I was looking at the times, like, intermediate, the guy that was winning would have finished like either last or like second to last. Like the split was right where it needed to be as far as people's talent level. And I know that Hunter's way faster than I am, even though I'll never admit it in one of my videos. I always tease him. I'm like, I'm way faster than Hunter King. But he's not. He's way faster than I am, especially with an A scale car. And he was getting absolutely annihilated. So if that's your top guy, cool. Like, yeah, support him. Do what you need to do. Make it make sense. But if we're talking about let's sell a ton of vehicles, the boat is turning, but it doesn't mean that you don't need a winning driver. Like you still need that component. I think that like something like what I'm doing is a supplement to what Ryan Mayfield can achieve on the track. So it's like, okay, Ryan Mayfield can go out and be super Ryan Mayfield stuff, but then we also need that cool, fun, relatable thing that like something we see on Ryan's channel or someone else's channel. And then it's like, okay, yeah, this whole ecosystem they got going on, I'm going to plug into it. I'm going to spend my hard earned dollars. I like what I see. So with TLR, there is that big missing component of they don't have that X factor anymore now that Dakota is gone. And I don't think that they have any intention of getting it back. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know what's going to happen. Um, it it's so hard out there in the 8 scale market, right? Look how many chassis out there, and there's more coming out. Hong Nor releases another car. This person's coming out with a car. Like, oh yeah, let's get into the 8 scale chassis market. Said nobody ever who ever wants to make money. Because it's so crazy out there. It's
Wait, can I get a hot take from you?
sure.
And that you can cut this out of the show if you need to.
Also, a big shout out to our Swedish hobby shop friends over there in Sweden. Step up your RC racing with Latera Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and tracks dedicated to racers, featuring top brands like Hobby Wing, X-Ray, Zoo Racing, and Team Coyote. They provide everything you need from precision chassis to high performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers to demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by our shop and check for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners.
I think the fastest that I have seen Mr. Cavalieri was when he was on the S-Works car.
So let me tell you about Cavalieri. Cav needs 2
Okay.
years. He needs 2 years on a 8 scale chassis to get fast.
I don't know. He was pretty fast with that S-Works right out of the
He was
gate.
very good on the S-Works car near the end of his second, in the start of his second year. He also
Okay.
started to pick up stuff in the second year of TLR. He didn't get a second year with WIRC. And
Okay.
Mayako, well, we'll see. Pecco's actually down there wrenching for him at the Nationals this weekend. So JQ didn't make it. He sent his Padawan.
Maybe I will eat my own words, and Ryan Cavalieri is going to be the 2025 national champion. Who knows? But from a sort of okay racer's perspective, I know that Cav is not going to be the fastest guy on the planet because it just happens with age, right? Like I'm not discrediting his accomplishments at all, but it happens, right? But I still think he's got some juice. He's got a little bit of juice. And I saw that juice with the S-Works, and I'm just not seeing it with the Mayako. I don't know what the sauce is that they need to put in there, but of the Mayako stuff that I've seen, I think that JQ has created a car that is phenomenally capable for like anyone to drive. Like it's stable, it doesn't do anything weird, it's predictable, it's consistent. But in the hands of the guys that are the best in the world, I don't know if it has that razor's edge. Like the on the border of destruction fast. Does it have it? I don't know. Maybe Ryan isn't the litmus test of that, but that's just kind of what I'm seeing. I could see him get to that razor's edge because that's the kind of racer he is. He doesn't develop a car. If you give him a car that is on the fine line of being ballistic and exploding, he can take it and he can drive it and he can be very fast. But with the Mayako, it's like he has a car that's so comfortable that he just can't. I just don't see. He's not reaching that realm of like Mach 10 speed. I don't know.
I think that's
my
gone from him though. So I've talked to a few of his peers,
okay.
and when you talk to JQ, he's just not putting in the time anymore at the tracks as much as he should be. And people have told me that, not just JQ, and he needs a mechanic as well, especially on the 8 scale side of things. So that's why Pecco's going there. And to be fair, Cav is near the end of his career. He doesn't have anything left to prove in RC, right? A lot of people will talk a lot of shit about Cav. They don't like him and all this stuff. I've always been a big Cavallari fan. And he has accolades that a lot of these guys like Mayfield and a lot of these guys that people look up to now that they don't have 4 world championships, 4 really championships, 31 national championships, right? A Neo buggy win. We're talking about one of the best racers ever.
Absolutely.
But he has 2 kids. He's 37, 38 years old, and he's just trying to make money to provide his family. Saying that, he did finish like top 5, I think, at the Nationals in 2-wheel drive, or just outside the top 5. And he made both mains in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive at the Dirt Nats here recently. So 10 scale seems to be the place he can still really win. Maybe on a good day when everything's lucky and everything goes his way and he gets some good breaks. Yes. Be in position. Pudge luck, like what he said. A lot of people said. But man, these guys are so much faster nowadays. And these young guys are out there putting in the work, especially over in Europe. You know, I just kind of had this discussion. Like on my last podcast, we talked about Canas and Ongaro. Well, I did. And we was talking about the incident with Ongaro hitting Canas and E-Buggy at the E-Buggy Euros last weekend in Spain. It was a whole about a bunch of kerfuffle about that. Well, one thing I said about Canas is that Canas has been traveling. He's been racing. He's come over to America. He's done AMS twice. He came to PNB. He took his lumps at PNB. He's coming over to these races, racing against some of the best in the world, getting out of his comfort zone of being in Europe. And before that, he's been rewarded with a Silver State win last year. He won AMS last year. He came second at Silver State this year. He's coming to Wicked Weekend. He's just racing. And I said it, I think even though Ongaro is the world champion, I think at the moment in 8 scale, now I'm not biased, but I think Canas is the type of racer. I think he can go anywhere and win a race. And there's only a couple people I feel that can do that. And that's Canas, Dakota Fend, Mayfield, and I don't even have Ongaro in that.
Okay.
Ongaro, in my opinion, I've talked to him about this, and he says he's coming over to the US. Obviously, he's got to come over to the USA next year because we're going to have the Worlds there in Thornhill. And I'm saying all this, he's probably a favorite to win that race because it's going to be high bite, just how he likes it, and it's going to be very interesting. Ongaro is a very he's much of an enigma, right? And I think I want him to come over to the USA so the Americans can see this guy race as well, right? He's come to DNC and he's been there a few times, but he hasn't come in the last. I think he stopped COVID. He might have came the year of COVID, and then that was it. But yes, Cav, I've heard JQ say this. He was excited because I think he made the main. He bumped up to the main at DNC, and JQ was uber excited about it. And now it's all about Pecco. And I said, it's all about Pecco. But I feel for Cav, right? He's a guy that has all these accolades. But what he didn't do was work on his personal brand over the years. You know, he was a racer. And he got it by racing. Whereas he's not a popular figure. He's not well liked, unfortunately. That's his own doing. But guys like you and me geek out on him because we know how good he was, right? And still is. But he's not a Mayfield. Even Tebow's got his own business and stuff like that. Or even a Robert Battier, who's a world champion, but he's like in Spain and he's popular and people follow him. Cav just kind of lacked on that, right? He kind of just let his results carry him for so long. And I think it just comes from not having somebody to advise him. You should be doing this and you should be doing that in your career, because he'd be at a better spot in his career right now if he could do that.
I mean, again, the that number 18 plate back there, that was so eye opening when I talked with those boys, and I could just candidly speak to them about anything. The time that I spent with them, Jet and Hunter and their dad, they have an agent. They have several people that are financial advisors, and their lives, like when Hunter or Jet would win a race, it's like, okay, now I can buy another rental property because the contingencies were about 100 grand. So I'm going to build my portfolio versus, going to a strip club and doing something stupid and just lighting the money on fire. Uh, I'm not saying that anybody in RC is irresponsible. I don't know them. I don't know their financials. But what I will say is that I think that there is a lack of understanding of how to build longevity in just your financial career. Because RC, you're only going to be fast for so long. And I think that you're naive if you think that the company you've been with the longest is just going to hire you to be some sort of advisor or R&D guy. That money doesn't exist. Like, yeah, maybe in a part-time respect, and you can get like a grand or two a month, maybe. But beyond that, if you're trying to make real money, you got to start thinking way at the beginning. And I don't know. I don't know how Cab set up his financials. Maybe he's going to
Me
be
neither.
fine.
Me
And
neither.
what's that?
But I don't know how his financial setup is either, but it's kind of sad that when he does come to the end of his racing career, that's probably going to be it. We're not probably going to see him in the industry much. And
Yeah.
that's kind of sad for a man he's also gotten a lot from the industry, but he's also, I mean, he's not just like a run of the mill who won worlds and that's it. This man has won quite a
One of the
lot.
best.
Yeah, one of the best ever to touch a radio. So it's quite sad, but we'll see. I'm not saying he's out yet, but it must get hard every year, I mean, for all these racers, but for him especially because he's jumped with so many chassis and all this type of stuff. And maybe he's at fault. He's probably burnt bridges. He's not, probably had the best attitude towards stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. There's probably people in here that are going to be listening to this don't even realize how good Cav was because they just got into RC and they just know about the guys that are happening now. Which
Dude,
is
I watched him
Go ahead.
personally race the double X, the double XCR, the triple X series buggies. Like when they debuted the triple X4, it was Kinwald, Francis, and Cav. And when those cars hit the track and I was watching them go around, I didn't think that there's anything faster in the universe than Ryan Cavallari with that car. I was like, "Oh my goodness. This is amazing. This is a supernatural event that I'm witnessing right now." I remember calling my local hobby shop and I was like, "Hey, is there a new part number for a body for my double X4?" And they were like, "No, that's a prototype car. That's the triple X4." I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." So it's cool. I've seen Cav and his phenomenal career. It's like, yeah, I'll always root for him, and it's tough to see him kind of slowly fade into the sunset here, but I'll always love him.
I get it. I get it. Dollar Hobbies, our newest sponsor on the podcast. A big shout out to them and thank you for their support. And a thank you to everybody that's using that coupon code, saving 10%. That's right. You can use coupon code Lefty. If you don't know who Dollar Hobbies is yet, check them out at www.dollarhobbies.com. They have over 13,000 RC products in stock from 130 plus top brands. Whether you're a racer, basher, or crawler, or just getting into the hobby, they've got you covered. They also have an awesome brick and mortar store up there in Minnesota with an indoor carpet track that switches between on-road and off-road. Race nights, rentals, birthday parties, corporate events, the works. They have a skilled staff on hand to help with repairs and advice. For all you guys out there, if you want to show the podcast some love, you can go to dollarhobbies.com, use promo code Lefty in all caps, and you will save 10% off your order. Once again, big thanks to Dollar Hobbies for supporting the podcast. And don't forget, showing the sponsor some love shows the podcast some love. Well, which brings me into a great question before we get into our bigger question. And we're probably going to finish off with that, which is series. What are your thoughts? Okay, here's a better question. You took a break, a hiatus from RC. We talked about that when
Yep.
we had you on here before. Now you've been in about 2 years now. Have you seen any changes? Have you seen anything noticeable? What do you notice? Do you notice anything different in our industry from, say, when you was doing this the first time around?
I think that social media has grown and it's become a lot more relevant. Uh, some of the drivers do it very well and they get a lot of engagement. Probably at the top of that list that I've seen would be like Spencer Rivkin. Like he does a lot of live streams. He does a lot of things with multiple brands, and they kind of reinforce it and they promote him because it's, this is their financial investment. So it's in our best interest to also boost his socials. So I think that that has been huge. Um, a juicy tidbit that I don't know. I don't want to give you all the details. Maybe you already know. I don't know. I've told a couple people, but I will tell you this much: I don't. I am no longer running the TZO product. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, those boys are awesome. I have nothing but gratitude. It was kind of just like an experimental thing, just kind of like see you guys are interesting. You're making a lot of noise on the West Coast here. You got a little bit of an East Coast presence. Let's see what's going on. They're in a developmental stage, I think is what I'll call it. And they're kicking butt, taking names. They're doing really good on the West Coast. I think that they're still a little bit, they don't totally understand what us East Coast guys need and what's going on. And when I would tell things to them like, hey, this tire's doing this, they'd be like, what? No, it's not. And then, yeah. They're like, no, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, and then, it was also me and several other people would, reinforce what I was saying. And then they, oh, wow. Okay. So let's figure stuff out. Um, but a little bit of a restructuring that they had here on the East Coast. And it was just going to be a little bit of a struggle. And for me, the biggest thing, I think that maybe I can take ownership of like maybe one of the faults I have, like when the whole Horizon effort was putting myself into a position where I'm going to, in my head at least, maybe not on paper and technically speaking, but like want to help somebody heavily with like the R&D and like team management and stuff behind the scenes, because that really just distracts me from what I'm known for, which is just make content, go to a race, have fun, and build stuff that people can enjoy. So that's how I help RC grow, right? And that wasn't what I was solely focusing on when I was with Horizon. And I don't think that that's what was happen or shaping up to happen with the TZO efforts. And I could kind of see the whole Horizon thing happening all over again. And I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't going to be good. So sorry, guys, really appreciate you. I know that, I made some content with your product. We got it out there. We had people try it. So I know that this was good for everybody at the end of the day, but I just need to make some changes here now to finish out the year. So I'm stoked. I think that Wicked Weekend will be like my official debut for the change, but I'm really excited about it.
I think I might know what the change is if your last video was any indication.
Oh, yes, yes, maybe. But
So,
to be fair, I always use those as like the
uh,
litmus example.
got you.
You can go back to any video when I ran
Got you.
Proline, Raw Speed, any of them, and I'll always say that tire as like my baseline reference because it's the most popular.
Got you. All right. Well, don't tell me. I'll be looking forward to
Yeah.
the scoop at Wicked. All right. Good. I like this points on the social media. Social media is important. And then social media is also bad at the same time, but it's important.
Sorry, I said all that to say, you're like, how have things changed?
Oh, yeah.
When this all comes to light, it was amazing to me what we were able to discuss and be like, "Hey, we're here. Will this work for you?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is great." And I was genuinely like, "Wow, this is amazing." Because if this was 7 years ago, not even close. Like it wouldn't even have been a discussion that they would entertain. And
Mm,
I would say that my racing talent has probably not improved. Like I've always been about, where I am. And I understand that on any given day. But the social media compounding effect that I've had over the 7 years, now that conversation was completely different.
mhm.
So that was really cool. And it was kind of like the reality, it's like, okay, this is real. A lot of times you downplay. I'm really negative on myself. It's like I think that I struggle a lot with not to say anything that I've done is excellent and wonderful, but like imposter syndrome. It's like anything I've achieved, it's like, well, you didn't really, this is all an accident. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, this happened, but it's like it'll never happen again. Or like, oh, this isn't going to continue to happen because
You
like,
don't
come
you don't
on.
deserve it. Do
Right.
you feel like
So
you don't deserve it?
kind of, yeah. I like the stuff that I make, I work hard for it, but it's
Mhm.
like, do I deserve the results that it gets? It's always in the back of my mind. And I try to push that off. And it's like, no, no, just make it, enjoy it, and engage with people and just be genuine and enjoy the fruits of your labor is where I try to put myself. It's I can't always stay there, but I try my best.
Okay. Well, that's great. I would say I kind of went through the same thing.
Yeah.
And with the podcast, obviously, working with Elite was opened up some. It was working with Elite is a mutual benefit. They wa- I came. We all kind of came up with the idea. Lance put it into fruition, and I'm the talking guy. I'm the talking face guy, and that type of stuff. And that works. Like going to these races and being there with the people, because that's what I like, right? The social aspect, being there with the people. So you'll see me out there. There's days when I'm not calling a race. I'm out there talking because I know I'm not going to see that when I get into the booth. And I appreciate that because those people mean a lot to me.
Mm.
And when those people come up to me, they're like, "Hey, Lefty, my girl has got an interview with you this weekend," because they know you're going to only get an interview if you TQ, if you bump up, and you only, because I believe I've said this one before. I don't think everybody should get an interview. I think winners get interviews, and top three stuff like that. And that's great to see people having a go, right? And we combined with Elite RC, plus what we've been doing here with the No Name RC podcast, doors have opened for me as well. That probably I sit here and like, wow, what, whoa, like, I can't believe that just happened. And of course, people are like, well, you think we know it's not like I'm making a whole bunch of financial money here and all this type of stuff, but doors are opening as I think RC's the people in RC, they're starting to understand the importance of the social media. They're starting to understand the importance of talking about what's going on. In my sense, we were we're still controversial, but we were uber controversial. I'll give you a perfect example. Silly season.
Okay.
Silly was the taboo. Nobody talks about it. You hear somebody whisper, I heard from somebody's mom's uncle's sister that this happened. I think that the podcast has made silly season into something like the NFL draft or trade season with baseball or off-season deals in soccer, like transfer season in soccer and in the UK. And people are into it, and I'm seeing the drivers get into it, right?
Mm.
And I think back 5 years ago, I would have been called crazy. We would have been called crazy talking about this. We shouldn't be talking about it in public. And now I actually think these drivers may even use it as a bargaining chip at some point. So
Yeah.
and when silly season starts, dude, my phone does not stop. I get anonymous tips from all over. I saw this person doing this. I saw this. I saw that. And people like that's our busiest season. Once silly season's going, we're going. So, but 5 years ago, that wouldn't have happened, right? People would have shunned me. But we kept kind of, it's just, we're talking about the stuff that we're talking about at the track. And then we're talking about with our buddies and our group chats and all that type of stuff. It's okay to freak out and be about the silly season stuff. I think it's fun. And I like that the drivers play along with it. The companies are starting to play along, have been starting to play along with it. And I think it's just a fun part of what we do in RC. Some people don't like it. That's fine. But, you know, I beat Max again this year in all my picks. And I got accused once again of cooking the books. But, when you lose like that, and you get to, and all your picks are almost right and your theories are right, you know. But it's speaking of silly season, it's probably going to be warming up here in the next few months. But I would agree with you. So that's great, man. That's great because that allows you to enjoy what you do, afford what you do, And then when you can do stuff like that, you can make better content. And the more content that we have, like I swear that race strategy video, I was like, man, that's such a great video. Like, and I was like, people need to watch this. If you're getting it, if even if you've been in the hobby for a while, you need to watch this because what you was talking, you broke everything down so easy for people to understand. And I know that that takes time, effort, focus away from your having fun. And I'm glad that things work out for you because I swear 10, 15 years from now, people can go back on that Ryan Stiles Harris video and like, it's still applicable today. So good stuff. And that's great because the more content we put out there, we think we're putting a lot of content out there, but we're not. We really ain't.
Well, because you look at other industries, like you remind me a lot of you are in RC, how I see Jason Wygant in
Oh,
motocross. Super likable. You put emphasis on knowing a lot of personal details about a lot of drivers, and I think that's something that you both do very well. And it makes the broadcast that much more colorful and entertaining and personable. So I appreciate that level that you put into your broadcast. That kind of stuff. But so it's like you have him, and then you have like six other guys that do exactly what he does. But then you come into the RC world, and it's like, well, how many people are really trying to do that kind of stuff for RC? And I'm not trying to discredit somebody that I don't know. If you're out there and you're pumping out a lot of content and I just haven't seen it, I apologize. But it's a testament that it's at least not hitting like the main pages of RC content that I'm scrolling through. Because I'd like to think that my algorithm is very RC focused because what I do. So what I would like to see if we're talking about like the current state of RC is more people doing that content, like the silly season stuff. Like, how many pages can you find on YouTube that make content that's like third party content clips from other clips on NASCAR, Supercross, Formula One, like pick any now NFL, Major League Baseball, soccer, any of them. Like there are so many tiny little channels that have like 100,000 subscribers and they get tons of views. But it's like it's still nothing compared to the main core broadcasters. Then you come into RC and it's like, yeah, we have Lefty, and he does a great job, and then maybe a couple others, but that's about it. So you talk about having a giant problem to solve, your content is only going to cover so much ground because that's all we got. So
yeah.
I would say it would be cool to see more people have like a breakdown. Like I would love to see somebody make a video where they just screen cap some clips from the Nats broadcast this weekend and they just give us a breakdown on a couple crashes or like here are my thoughts on who's got the best X-ray car, and they just do a couple clips of like the X-rays going around the track, or they're like, "Oh, this is why I think Mayfield's going to win," and they talk about anything. Just give me something like that. Stuff just doesn't exist. Like you are doing an excellent job. I know Elite RC does their job when they are the broadcast. Are they doing the Nats this weekend?
No, it's live RC.
Okay. I'm sure that Live RC has something that they're doing for their stuff there. We just need more. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree.
We just need more.
I agree. You said why again? Check this out.
Hey, this is Jason Wygant from NBC Sports Motocross. I have an Axle Yeti. It's broken. I fix it. It breaks. I'm not using it. But this is the No Name RC podcast.
Wait, what? What is
You
that?
wanna-
Hey, this is Jason Wygant from NBC Sports Motocross.
Yeah.
I have an Axle Yeti. It's broken. I fix it. It breaks. I'm not using it. But this is the No Name RC podcast.
Is that AI or is that Jason White?
No, that's Jason Wagon. Jake, you got
where
it.
did
For me.
that?
Jake, you got it for me.
When? Like
He-
what?
About 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago. Actually, hold on. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Steve Madison from Pulp MX, and you are listening to something called the No Name RC podcast.
I was like, dude, you're at these races. It was at a Supercross race in California, probably
Yeah.
Anaheim. And JQ geeks out. So he went on and he was doing the pit walk. He had a pit pass and he got these voice notes from him. Oh, I got one more. Hold on.
What's up, guys? I'm Axel Hodges, and you're listening to. Wait, what's RC? What?
No name.
No Name RC. What's up? I'm Axel Hodges, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast.
Nice.
That was cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Well, I mean, we kind of based this podcast off Pulp MX. When we
Nice.
started. That was
Nice.
like that was my template, Pulp MX. So it was cool. It was cool. But yeah, I would agree with all those points on that. Social media is so important. And you just never know. I mean, I'm gonna brag. I got a clip on ESPN, TikTok, and Instagram.
What? Oh,
Yes.
was it like was it you talking or was it like a shot of a car?
It was just a reel of John Bernard Jr. at the North Georgia shootout with his short course truck putting in impeccable laps. It's got over 20 million views on Instagram and ESPN. And you know what? When I was filming this, I was like, I think this, call me crazy, but I'm like, this is going to go viral. And you know how I knew it was going to go viral? Because it was a short course truck. But it's actually, okay, they only clipped 30 seconds, but it's a 90-second video of him doing probably 2 laps. And he's just impeccable. And people are just freaking out over it. So, but that's the little tidbit that somebody's going to get and be like, oh man, people race this, or I played RC Pro-Am, or I used to have this car. And Yaxine, we got to fire on all cylinders, everything to try and get a little bit more people into this racing, this crazy thing we call RC. Because I'm one of the people, which is great. Now we can segue into the big topic. I said we're only going to be an hour. We're running for an hour and 12 minutes. I don't know what I would. So last week we shared this video from episode 262. I will be reposting that, just the interview with you. And it was about your series, right? And then, well, I said, can RC go mainstream? And then we had somebody, I want to read something because this is one of the reasons I think people don't want it to go mainstream. Some people about it, like it's never going to go mainstream and blah, blah, blah. And I agree. We don't have a product right now that goes mainstream to do. Like RC racing as we film it now and as we do it is not a product for the general viewer. How kind of Live RC bottled it up with the, what was that race that they did? Oh,
yes, it went on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things people have to understand. I kept it revert back to RCGP. They did a great docu-series, but RCGP was not a race promoter. They were a media company that put on a race, that catered a race around the production, which what it takes to get RC mainstream. But our thing was about a series, right? And how we want to do a series and all that type of stuff. And you was like, I would love to just calculate series, maybe go around and do videos after each one because we have the races there. And then I was like, I'm going to do a virtual series. And I did it last year. And I want to tell you my pitfalls in that and why I know people's not going to like this, but I think the only way we can do a proper series in RC is just for the pro guys, man. Honestly, that's what's going to sell people. And I know people want to do an intermediate and sportsman series as well, but that is way more difficult, even with those races, than it sounds. So I'm all for having a series in RC. One thing I understand, especially in the USA, we don't have dates or times to put in another race, right? So it's very difficult to get these guys to come to another race when they have their set standards. We know that they go to SIC. I'm talking 8 scale now. We know they go to SIC. They go to the DNC, the PMB, the Silver State, the Nationals. They go to Wicked Weekend. And then the final big race that most of these guys go to is the AMS. So we have 7 races right there in the USA. That is a 7-race series, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I based my series off of. And that's fine for the pro guys. I gave them 1 drop. Right? Because I know maybe they will make it. So I gave them 1 drop. Where I ran into the problems was with sportsman and intermediate. And I forgot when I did it, I was too excited and I forgot the difference in competition in the races. So I did a Southeast virtual series, right? So I used all of the race time events. So 4 race time events. Then I used, because we have 8 races in the Southeast on our roof. I used Brent's RC Pro-Am, his Fall Brawl, and then I used Mark Moon's North Georgia Shootout and Peach State Classic. What I forgot, what I overlooked was that while race time is a nationally, I like to call it a national big race that draws talent from around the nation, around the world, really, and top drivers in pro, top intermediate class, even in sportsmen. It's really a difference. Whereas the races like Pro-Am, North Georgia Shootout, Fall Brawl, yes, they're big races, but more of a regional big race. They don't, number one, get all the pro guys. They may get 1 or 2 or 3. People that run sportsman and intermediate at a race time event bump up a class because the competition level isn't there.
Oh, yeah.
So when I got to these races, a person that probably should have been running intermediate at that class is still running sportsman to get points. And the intermediate guy who probably should be in the pro class, now they're not sandbagging. They're just doing it for the points, right? Because it was intermediate and sportsman. And honestly, when I got doing it and I got to that first hurdle, I was just like, oh shit. Like, what did I do? Right? And it really turned me off, right? Of doing that. And I was like, for this to work, it only has to be there's 4 races. Because that's the only fair way it's going to work for each class, right?
Mhm.
Because there's such a competition level between. I'm not saying that they're not great races, but the level of competition is it's just like somebody who may run in Florida. They'll run sportsman at a FRCC race. No, sorry, they'll run intermediate at a FRCC race, but they go to a Dave race and they run sportsman because the competition level is so much higher. So that was
Right.
one of the problems that I ran into with the virtual series. Now on the pro side, it was fine because them guys, they all went to the same races, right? And once I hit that snag with the intermediate and sportsman, it just was like, and there were guys that weren't bumping up because they wanted to stay down and get the points. And I was like, oh, I caused that. And I felt very bad about it. And that's one of the reasons I didn't do it this year. Plus, I was really pushing Dave. I was like, Dave, please, let's do a series. Dave has all the ingredients for a series. He has 4 races. Okay, I wish he had more, but he has 4 races, all under a roof. So you're going to get a guaranteed race. He has pretty much all the top talent coming to his races in a pro class. He has probably all the top talent coming on an intermediate class. I'm going to focus on pro for now because that's the key thing. We focus on the pro guys in motocross. Yes, intermediate and sportsman guys care. I'm not saying you don't, but we're talking pro class right now. And he can do it, right? But then I started thinking about it. If he does a series, he's got to do tech for those guys. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. That's when, if it's doing for the pro class, great, because them guys are used to it. This is just things I was thinking when we was doing it. Like, it's not just that easy to say we have to do a series. You have to create rules. You have to create, you have to have some rules. You have to have tech, all that type of stuff. And it's easy to say Raw should do it, but they can't even get dates. It's so hard. But what we can do is a very good virtual series. But for the virtual series to be active, the pro guys have to be into it. There has to be some benefit for them, right? It has, in my opinion, they have to kind of push it. And yeah, I was talking to Levi Jackson because he's trying to do it, right? So he commented on that post and he showed me his races. And I said, you should remove these races because you're not going to get these guys to come out, all these guys to come out to these races. We have the races. We have the guys going to them. We just haven't been able to execute it to where it gets traction. But I would absolutely love. I think Joey could do it if the Lone Star race was a little bigger, but it isn't as big as it should be. But Dave's races get packed, all of them. And they have all the top competition there. It would be so awesome. But he is the one entity that could do a series, a proper series. And he was flirting with it because he was flirting with it. But at the end of the day, he still has a successful product. He doesn't have to do it. And it's a lot of extra work to do it. Even when I was doing the virtual series, I had to get the points from somebody who did them up on a spreadsheet. Then you got to get them to Danny Paz, who's got to do them up right. oh, you got 1 point wrong. You did this wrong. You did this wrong. I won this. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it for the traction that it got. Right now, in the intermediate and sportsman guys, they liked it. But then we hit that snafu with the classes, and I was just like, you idiot. You didn't even factor this into it. You're so excited. You wanted to do it and give people more chances. But it's so hard, right? So
Well, I mean,
I don't know what you think about that.
I race intermediate at most of the big races because I know that's where my talent falls. Nobody really cares about intermediate or sportsman. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that. Like, if you do, it's probably because you race it. But other than that, it's like not very many people are making huge decisions based on what's going on in intermediate. That's uh, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's my hot take on that. No, I only care about pro. And so I know that these races don't function without the participation factor. They are financially viable because of the participation. The viewers are basically the participants, more or less, right? That's actually, it's growing, it's changing. Like I've been watching the stream numbers that we get on the Elite RC stuff, and it's cool to see that it's increasing. That's awesome. But it's not going to make it financially viable where it
No.
stands today, right? So it's cool. You collect a very small check, I'm sure, from YouTube AdSense, which congratulations, cool, but it's definitely not paying out a staff
No.
of 8 guys. Like it's just that doesn't happen, right? So the participation factor is necessary. So if we're looking at it that way, your sportsman and intermediate classes, they are 100% necessary for the financial viability of these races even happening in the first place.
Absolutely.
So I think that where we stand, does RC need to go mainstream? No. Would it be cool if it did? Yes, because I hate every single time I see something so stupid and like it's not real, like some crazy contest that ends up on ESPN and it has like multiple airings and all this stuff going on for somebody like something stupid. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Like these competitions, you like you watch it like this isn't real, right? Like this, how is this doing more and pulling numbers than what we can do in RC? And I think it's just because until now, I think that there hasn't been much that was ready for somebody to tap in and try. So I think like if you take the product that Elite RC and companies like it are doing, you can just condense it to the pro guys and that's your broadcast. Maybe it doesn't happen live. Maybe you have to re-air it for the sake of editing and condensing for the sake of time. Because I know that it's like you can't just sit around and wait for an entire pro event to happen live because it's going to be 4 days, right? Like it's no TV broadcast can survive that, and nobody would care. So maybe for now it's not live like you would see with Supercross or something, but maybe something like could you do something where you run the race, but the pro guys don't run at all until like the last 2 days during a scheduled time.
Mm.
Like you run the feeder guys, they get all their laps in, and their program goes faster because you don't run the pro program at all, and then you reach the pro point of the program, and then you run it. So you could like shift the race program a little bit to condense it for TV purposes. I think that might be possible. What do you think?
Yeah. So we fundamentally we kind of agree on a lot of things here. The finished product to get eyes on our sport has to be exceptional. It has to we have to put our best foot forward, right? We have to capture that means there's quick qualifiers, condense it all into 45 minutes, right? At the most. And that takes going out, getting interviews, doing all that type of stuff, hitting it on all cylinders. So, but right now, how the streams are working and financially viable is that the sportsmen and intermediate people, they matter as well. Like their families are home and watching them. I get what you're saying, but until we get the influx of maybe some outside money or money where we can either have more people, it's either we either have to go 2 ways. We either have to have in the production side, I would say, we either have to have more people who can go out and take Danny Paz's position, right? And maybe take Lefty's position and somebody goes on the mic, or we put Lance on the mic and somebody does Danny's position while we go out and go get those interviews and go get all that stuff and get that stuff ready, get that all cut up and edited up and all that type of stuff. Either we have more people to do that, or we say, hey, sorry, sportsman guy, sorry, intermediate guy, you got a static cam and the RD while we go out and do this content. But at the same time, financially, that stream is pretty much crowd-funded by the sportsman and intermediate driver.
Oh, 100%. It doesn't happen without them.
Right. So it's either we need to get more money to be able to hire one or two more people, right? Or we don't give the product to the intermediate or sportsman guy. But right now, just like those races are the backbone of any big race is the sportsman and intermediate guy. They come, they pay, they race. So it's a catch-22, right? Yes, the pro side is what we want to focus on and we want to do, but we need more manpower to do that. There's only one Danny Paz, and we need somebody that can either do what Danny Paz does here. He's already doing pictures and editing. I don't know how he does all that he does, to be honest. And then talking to me as my invisible co-host. And either we get more people to help out there and do that type of stuff, or okay, we don't film the whole. Not everybody in every main gets a moving camera. Maybe for an hour or two, we're out doing this type of content, and he gets time to edit it up and stuff like that. So until we can get an influx somewhere, or get and people understand. Well, what about the manufacturers? Well, the manufacturers are supporting, but they're also supporting the race, bringing their drivers there. They're spending a copious amount of money. The point is, we need outside money.
Outside sponsors. 100%.
We can't attract outside money without having a product that grabs millions of eyes. A big shout out to Techno RC for all their support. Thank you for sending me out that new Techno MT. I'm really liking it. Shout out to Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance 8-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
No, in the beginning of the broadcast, I said that I was potentially going to call somebody out. I'll just identify his comment. I don't know where it was, but it really made me tilt my head. That's an interesting take. I don't know verbatim what he said, but the bottom line was Jared Tebow. He was like, I don't want. It would be bad if we got this national broadcast. And I was like, because it would take money away. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that and I'm like, Mr. Tebow, you are doing a wonderful job with your JTP product line. And I was like, let's just talk about this. If you have more customers, you make more money. If you have less customers, you make less money. So if we can figure out a way for us to increase, maybe he just doesn't, I'm sure he does because he puts out a lot of content. It's like the amount of people that I have had a conversation with over the last 7 years of me making content. And they said, Ryan, I didn't know anything about RC until I saw your video on YouTube. And then I went to my local hobby shop or I ordered this thing online and now I'm here racing it. Thank you for the stuff you do. That person, I don't want to put myself in a position where it's like I'm the end all be all of RC. Maybe they would have found RC a different way. But the point is made that they watched a piece of content that was broadcasted to a large number of people, and now an increased number of racers are here. So if he could find a way where it's like, okay, no, this is cool. Maybe I can't financially support a larger broadcast effort, but is there something that I could do that the equation of the elite RC guys need a second editor on race day? Can I make that happen? because it makes the whole thing grow. Like it pushes a rising tide lifts all ships. Like that. That's I was so disheartened because it's such a narrow comment. Like maybe he has a very particular opinion and he could articulate it more and I'd have a better understanding. But just at face value, I was like, us not having a larger reach, I don't see how that helped.
Oh my goodness. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I'm going on a spiel. And I've
Okay.
thought about this for many, many years now. Because I saw a comment. I actually screenshot. I'm not going to say his name. But Tebow has talked about. So Tebow has always had a good idea of putting on a race alongside of like Loretta Lynn's or amateur motocross.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
That I'm cool. I agree with 100%. When people say things like we don't want RC to go mainstream, do we really want it? Because it's going to ruin it. There was one guy on YouTube said, "Oh, look at UFC. It went mainstream and ruined it." I'm like, you know what, though? Dude, I believe, I truly believe. All right. So RC right now, let's be realistic. It's a very big sponsorship thing. People, drivers are sponsored, contract customers, whatever you want to call it. You are a sponsored driver, right? You probably get a percentage off, and then there's other stages. Each company has its own stacks, right? I think that an influx of people getting into RC racing does nothing but benefit the industry. It is more sales for each company, more people at the tracks, more people using product, more people racing. Tracks are, you hear people, tracks are closing down. Yes, because there's too many tracks. There's too many tracks and they have choices where people can go to. If you're not going to be a good track or you're not in a good location or it's too expensive, people are going to go elsewhere, right? I think that is probably one of the most closed-minded, narrow-minded views you can ever have. But you know what it comes from, I think, Ryan? I truly believe, and I'm probably wrong on this, but I don't think so because I've thought about this quite a lot. I think people are scared of RC growing because then I think that they feel that their significance in RC dwindles because there's a lot of people out. RC means racing, means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And I've met a lot of people that race RC cars. And you always have that one guy at a track who's the track hero who has a 75 off deal, who's been with such and such company for such and such years and races. He's the guy. But guess what? More people coming in, that company says, hey, we're making more sales. Those deals come down lower. You know what I mean? Those deals start to become, hey, we're making retail sales now. We're got stuff in hobby shops. I really feel deep down at the core, a lot of people are scared that, and I think a lot of people think that RC will lose that participation. I get to hang out with the pros type of thing. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can still be like that. But wouldn't it be great if we just got, I had an argument with J.K. once. I'm bouncing on the place. I said if 100 people got into RC right now, it would make a difference. And he's like, no, it wouldn't. I said if 100 people got into RC, it would make a difference. 1,000 would make a big difference. 10,000 would make a huge difference. And imagine what 100,000 would do. I don't think we have 100,000 people doing RC, racing cars. But, imagine right now in Florida, if 25 people got into 8-scale racing tomorrow, right? That is a minute number, but imagine what it would do to the racing community in Florida. It would boost it by 25 people. Those people will get new cars, they'd be going to the tracks, all that type of stuff. Now imagine if you double that or triple that. It's only going to be better for everybody. But what happens is, I think those guys who have those ego deals and stuff like that, they feel their significance drops lower. But what they don't realize is that they have more people to like ambassador to, right? You're still valuable. You just have more people to go share your knowledge of what you've been doing and get them into RC and make sure that they're going to stay there. You still keep value. You just have to work harder at it, right? I have this one comment because this guy said it, and I wanted to bring this up. And he goes, I'm not going to say his name. He goes, I mostly agree with what they're saying. But I also wonder, do we really want big corporations and mainstream media getting involved in our wonderful hobby? Now, nobody said nothing about that, right? What are the possible downsides and negatives? If what we want is the hobby getting exposure to grow, we could all do a better job of sharing race flyers. Closed-mindedness. This same person probably thinks that these companies are selling millions of units every quarter, millions of cars.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that that's a very selfish way to think about it, because at the end of the day, if you're really being honest with it, you just gotta understand that yes, maybe more people coming into the hobby is gonna probably not. We're probably not gonna see as many people getting sponsorship and getting contract customers as we call them, or getting deals and all that type of stuff. But I can see zero negative, zero absolute. Okay, I can see race days being longer because races might be longer because there's going to be so many people, but zero negativity with more people, more exposure for what we do, and getting new people racing. Like, I think RC racing, and people say RC racing is too hard, and and you can have, oh, what is it? Oh, kids can't race because they need parents and all this stuff. Well, great. Let's get those parents out there. It's a great thing for you to mentor somebody. Like, we shouldn't be shunning people. Like, we need to be looking at every way to get people to RC. What, are you scared? Are you afraid that these people are going to get better than you and beat you in the track? Then go out there and figure out how to beat them. I don't know, man, but I truly believe it's a lot of different. When people say things like that, I think it's a very closed-minded, horse with blinders, narrow-minded way to think. Because who wouldn't want RC to be? We wouldn't have to worry about tracks closing. Enough people to go to tracks. Hobby shops that have tracks can sell race product. I'd see zero negative if more people get into RC racing. Zero.
Going back to my question mark to Tebow's remark, and I think it was really he based it on like it financially would hurt him or something, or it would financially hurt the industry more than it would help, or to something to that effect. I'll use myself as an example. When I was like kind of done with the Horizon stuff, and I was like, I'm moving on my own. And I know that I had lost like a lot of momentum with my channel because I did the moto stuff for a while. And I came back and I kind of was like, I was really lost. I was like, I don't love 10 scale anymore at all. I really don't like where my 8 scale program is at. I was like, I felt like it was over. I was like, am I just done with my channel? Like, is this it? And I was really defeated because I was like, man, there's better people out there. Like, I don't think I could do anything. Like, what's the point? Like, this is just going to cost me a lot of money. And like, I had a lot of negative talk going into what Ryan Harris's world, what was going on. And I kind of just like, I sat back and I was like, I won't say it to the extent, but I was like, F all of that. I'm going to make the best content I possibly can with some cars that I like, and I don't care what happens. I really believe that I put the best content out there above anyone else, and so I'm going to show these people what I'm good at. And so I went out and I raced those cars. I put in the best race program I possibly could. I recorded as much content as I could as a one-man band, being a racer, wrencher, and a videographer / editor. And I put that stuff out. And I really feel like what ended up happening was I had a really like a revival of myself and my channel. And I was so thankful that I shut off the negative talk, and it's like, oh, it's oversaturated, or oh, these people are just, they've taken over the market, like I can't do this, or if I try, like somebody else is just going to steal my success. Stop. Just make the best content I can, race as good as you can, and just be a good like influence to as many people as possible. And that's what happened. And I feel like it was a very, very eye-opening outcome. So it's like when you talk about these people and they have this very negative mindset or this narrow view of the world, and they don't want to just put their best foot forward regardless. Like, okay, so RC is going to get sponsored by Red Bull and there's these 10 other companies that are coming in. I don't care. I'm still going to sell my product, and it's going to be the best product on the market. and I'm going to put content out there to prove it, right? Like that's the mindset you should have. If you're going to come into this world of business and compete, compete. Don't be a sissy. Don't make excuses. Go out there, be the best that you possibly can, and show the world what you can do. So
Absolutely, man. I saw those comments and I was just like, I can't wait to talk about this. I can't wait to talk about it because I don't see. All I can think is that these people are just nervous, right? And I do a lot of psyche of the RC driver, right? I am extremely extroverted. Like you'll see me, I'll talk to everybody, right? But you really think about it, RC drivers, even these pro guys, they're very introverted people. They're very to themselves, look head on, focus on that because RC is you, right? You don't need a team. You can do it on your own. You're in your own world. You go home, you wrench on it. And that is, I think, one of my biggest pet peeves when I see that. I'm like, what? So you're telling me you don't want companies to survive and you don't want tracks to survive and you don't want this to happen because you think it's going to be corporate or whatever, right? But guess what, man? If we don't get people coming into this industry and new people doing it and people racing, we're not going to have it, right? Or it's just going to be like, I think we overestimate in our brains how big RC racing is, right? I think we do. I think we think it's so huge because it's our world, right? And I get it because this is my world. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. My brain is at full capacity with RC stuff. Now I do Power Wheels, RC stuff, whatever I'm into, looking after my kids and trying to survive every month. That's my brain power right there. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't care what's going on in the world. Maybe that's a very closed-minded, narrow view to have. All I know is that I truly believe that RC will have its 15 minutes of fame. And we better be ready as an industry when that happens because it is going to be, you think you can't get parts now? Well, wait till that influx comes. But you know what? You're going to have to weather that storm and it's going to be good. It's the only negative thing that can come. There are negatives, but the positives outweigh anything. When I hear that, I say to myself, you know what? I can't debate with that person. I just won't. I won't even acknowledge those comments. I just leave it. I'm just like, nah, you're not thinking big enough. You're not thinking big. You're not seeing the big picture. I am. But then these same people will be complaining about tracks are closing and this is happening and this is happening. Well, look, man, it takes more than sharing flyers, right? It takes doing this. It takes making content, getting it out there, having a positive mindset. Everything was impossible till it wasn't. So I do not see how getting more exposure and getting probably some outside money. We always say that, why can't we get us big sponsor? Because we don't have a product, right? We're not jamming. We're not a spectator sport. We can be, but we have to make special. It costs money to do that. It's been done. We're not going to get backsides in stadiums as much, but we do get people at home watching this stuff. And that's where we can maybe not go mainstream, but we can get exposure. And man, I'm so glad you brought that up because I almost forgot to talk about that. I know I'm going to get some heat for what I just said, but I think if people really sit down and examine why they really don't want this to get popular, I think people are afraid they're going to lose. Some people out there that deal what they have, what I've learned in my time as being a manager. Here's an example. When we was at JQ Racing, we used to do our deals 15, 20, 25% off retail, right? When you went to somebody and said, hey, your deal's 15%. Oh, he's got 50%. Then you have to sit there and explain to that person, okay, but it's 50% off of this price. We're giving you this much off of this price, which you actually in turn save more money, but it doesn't sound as cool, right? And I can't tell you how many times I've been at a race and you hear guys throwing around their deals. Oh, I'm on 50. I'm on 65. I'm on 76 and a half, and that's our brag. That's our penis measuring contest right there. But it should be on the track. It's the psyche of an RC racer. Trust me, I'm sat there. I'm thought about this stuff. I've had as a team manager, I had many interactions with people from all walks of life. And at the end of the day, I think when I heard somebody say that, I think, you're just worried that your deal or your significance or your RC bubble is going to get disrupted by having more people in there. But what you don't realize is that you have information and you have knowledge that you can give to these people that are coming in. So you actually grow your RC bubble more than anything. Oh, it's so frustrating. So frustrating.
To just for the record, I just want to say, in case people are misinterpreting what I'm saying, I love Jared Tebow. He's a beautiful family. He's faster than I am on the track. He's a beast on the mountain bike. Like, I love everything he does. It was just the one comment. I have a question mark next to it. I would love to have a conversation with him about it. Be very civil. I am not a Tebow hater. Just to
No,
clear
no,
the air, because I know how the internet can be at
no.
times.
But I understand. I think they're to the point where he's been in this long life, like it's never going to be mainstream or never going to be this. Maybe it's not, but we can be in a better position that we are in, and we can be getting more exposure for our sport slash hobby. Because I know that's another debate.
I mean,
Yeah,
to put it in terms of a business owner, let's say, because I know a lot of people, let's say the retail web store, numbers are a little low. So what do? You blast out an email campaign, you do something to boost some revenue, right? Whatever that email campaign number is, like let's just say that you have a customer base of like, I don't know, 600 people, 700 people. What if that number was 3 times that size?
yeah.
Just like in terms of business, I don't care how we got there. What does that mean to you at the end of the day as a business owner for something that you work very hard to protect because it's what puts food on the plates for your family? I understand how important it is and how much you want to protect your livelihood, just like any of the racers that we've been talking about. The reason they do this traveling circuit, everybody's trying to hold on to that tiny little slice. All Lefty and I are saying is, well, can we loosen up a little bit so that we can increase this slice for everybody?
Yeah,
That's all we're just entertaining that conversation. That's all we're doing.
everybody eats, as you say. It's another Joseph said at JQ, a rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
And everybody will benefit. Every single person. Imagine you see these tracks. They're all trying to have a race day. They got 20 people here, 15 people here. They're all within 2-3 hours of each other. Well, imagine if there was enough people for all 3 of those tracks to have 200 entries. How great would that be? Right? And then there's no infighting. There's people that are close by. Oh, I just have to drive an hour next week or next weekend. Okay, I went to that track that weekend. Let's go on to this track. And just imagine. Wow. Look at that. But
Yeah.
we have to think big, dude. We have to. People will say I'm crazy. People will say, I hope 30 years from now, when this all has passed and happened, and people come back and see this and be like, man, them guys are way ahead of their time. Way ahead of their time. But we have to change that attitude. We can't have that attitude. And that's just defeatist. I think that's a selfish attitude. I'm not saying that Tebow was selfish. I get he's talking from a point of that. But I really think deep down, if people really ask themselves when they say that, do I really want it to be like this? You ain't gonna lose that soul of RC, which is participation and being able to go race shoulder and shoulder with that top pro guy. Because that's a beautiful thing, and people like that. And you're not gonna lose that, but you're just gonna have it's gonna be a much healthier situation for everybody. And I guarantee you that hobby shops, track owners, and manufacturers would not be against that at all. Yeah. Like, hey, do you want more money? No. No, I don't. Nobody's never gonna say that. No, I have enough. Oh, but you need more money. Your shop's like, no, I'm fine. No, that's so silly. So silly. Anyway, we're preaching. We're preaching. We're preaching.
I know.
Well, we're going longer than I thought. Was there anything that you wanted to add before we wrap this up?
No, I just wanted to say, I know that when we got off the call of that podcast that we shot a couple years ago at this point, the first thing I asked you was, why don't you put up shorts and just chop up a bunch of these bits from these videos that you make? And you're like, it's too much time. And it was back then, but now there's so many more tools that make it way more accessible to do that kind of stuff. So I applaud you that you are doing a phenomenal job at cranking out a ton of content for the RC community. So thank you for doing what you do. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. I discovered AI, and it made
Yeah.
things a lot easier. It cuts down on your workload, and I'm also I don't know why I didn't do this. Lazy. I was being lazy. That's why. I didn't want to do the extra work of going listening to a whole show, cutting it up into clips, and I found that now okay, the reels are great, but now doing I call them the NNRC quick clips. So this will be clipped up. We got an hour and 50 minutes of content. People consume that a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
And then they can get the full show later. It was funny. I had one guy comment to me on YouTube because they weren't used to it. He's like, I could get notifications for the same show. And I was like, no, it is the same show, but I split it up into 5 different chapters, as you want to say. So you can consume that a little easier instead of you having to go listen to the whole show. Is it and it just it's a little bit more work, but I kind of worked it in and then I'm able to keep track of doing the reels and putting them up. And I think I've just been behind my computer screen for the last month since I've been here, just doing that.
Dude, I know. AI is huge.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing videos probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I would try to get a clip to put up on like my Instagram or a story, and it would be formatted for like the short form content type stuff. It was all manual. Like I had to go in, find the clip, edit the whole thing myself. And if you guys don't do content creation, that doesn't sound like a big deal. But if you've ever sat down and scrubbed through a timeline of a video that's over an hour, 2 hours, and then I tell you, okay, now go find 3 of the best spots and make me an Instagram reel, you'd be like, oh God, this
It's your
sucks.
thing. You have to go
'Cause it's
listen to
like you have to edit this whole thing. And it was 2 hours to record the whole thing. So now you have to go back and edit this 2 hours. Anyways, I'm preaching to a
dude.
very small group of people, but it's it's huge. We have tools now. It's helpful. I just want to see more of it, and Lefty is doing a great job.
Thank you. This is gonna be clipped up quite a lot. We're gonna
Love it.
I'm trigger warnings on all of them now. Hey, Ryan, thank you for the chat. Thank you for all that you do. Keep on making the content. I'm sure you're gonna be back on her at some point. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure we have something else to talk about, but we can't talk about it right now. And
Yes.
hopefully when that's all resolved, we can talk about it because that's a lesson for people
Oh,
to learn.
yes. That
Very good
we
lesson.
will at some point, for those that are still here, hats off to you guys. It's happening right now. So when you're watching this back, you'd be like, "Oh, I know what he's talking about." Pretty juicy. Don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's happening right now. It's going to come out in the future. That's all I can say.
There we go. Hey, I'm glad you're back in RC. I'm glad you discovered that nitro is the glory. And keep on enjoying it because it's important that you enjoy this. And keep on putting out that content because you put out your content is quality. Like just your editing, your video, your lights. As a content creator, I don't have that talent, but I recognize it. And I'm like, that's awesome. That is so awesome. So keep on doing what you're doing. Check out his, I swear, race strategy. Great video. Awesome video. You probably have a lot of other great content on there, but my I get caught up in consuming a lot of content. So I have to spread my time out through a lot. But that's the latest one I found. Check him out, Ryan Stiles Harris. How many subs do you have now, by the way?
Yeah. We're close to 60.
Okay.
Close to
That's
60.
great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Maybe one day we'll get a button, but it's going to be a while before we get there.
RC Racing TV just got theirs. And
Hey,
they've
that's
been,
awesome. Congrats.
yeah, they've been doing this for 15 years. They're putting out some good content. Have you seen their content too? It's a lot Euro based, but they do a short news reel every week. RC Racing TV. That's who does a lot of the content over in Europe.
I've seen some of their clips. They're heavy on the like satire, and it's
Yeah.
not, maybe it's just not my taste, but they do a good job at what it is and what they're doing. So
Yeah, they're very creative guys. They're also very
yes.
passionate at what they do. And they're very smart, very artistic, Dude,
Love it.
thank you for the chat. Keep on racing, keep on having fun, and I'll see you at Wicked Weekend.
Yes, I will see you there. Thank you, Lefty. I appreciate you.
It's gonna be hot. Not Florida hot. Not Florida humid, but it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, dude. A big shout out to Beach RC for all their continued support. We greatly appreciate Brent and everybody there at Beach RC, and they've just moved into their new facility there in Myrtle Beach. Check out Beach RC. We have an affiliate link in this podcast for all you guys there. Thank you, Beach RC, for all your support.
BeachRC.com, the racer's one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, S-Works, Pro Circuit Racing tires, Nitro Lux fuels, and Assault RC performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Ryan, for your time. It's great to see you out racing again. We greatly appreciate your support of the podcast and all the content that you put out. Love your content, love your video work, all that type of stuff. Keep on doing what you're doing. We greatly appreciate it. And we're going to have you back on the podcast, sir, probably in a few months' time, or maybe next year. We'll see how things are going. But keep on making the content. If you haven't subbed to RSH's YouTube channel, please do. Let's help that man. He deserves to get 100,000 subs. And we want to get him that silver YouTube plaque. Also, a big shout out to the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do without you guys' support, as well as the YouTube members and NNRC Patreons. Also, a big shout out to our sponsors. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Dollar Hobbies, Side Piece Racing, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. We hope you guys enjoyed this chat with Ryan Stiles Harris. I know I did. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Don't forget to hit that sub, like, and notification button for the NNRC. And remember, showing the sponsors some love shows the podcast some love. Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Lefty is out.